Just a couple of minutes now until we get underway with the long-anticipated afternoon session of racing here on day 4 of the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships Račice. First race due off for this afternoon session will be the C final for the women's 4, going off at the scheduled time. Just to remind you of the schedule changes we've had, we will have races 1:40 to 1:47, the C finals from the women's 4 onwards taking place on the scheduled time, and then we will go back to the G, F, E and D finals, and then the C finals for the women's pair running after these C finals from 5:35. This is the lineup for this first C final. We've got Belarus in lane 1, Russia in lane 2 and Hungary in lane 3.
Juniorské mistrovství světa ve veslování pro rok 2018 v Račicích teď přivítá další závodníky, respektive juniorky 4 bez kormidelníka. Dostáváme se k další části závodu. Finále s označením C, první dráha bělorusky, druhá dráha rusky a ve třetí dráze budou bojovat závodnice z Maďarska.
So the wind starting to ease off ever so slightly here on the course at Račice. Conditions are looking better and better as the afternoon's gone on. We're anticipating less and less wind through the course of the next 15 minutes to half an hour. It's a nice tailwind at the moment. You can see these 4s have been called forward to front stops, and in a moment we'll be underway. There we go, the buzzer goes, and we have the C final, the first final of the entire event has started here for the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships. You might be wondering why we started with the women's 4 C final and not the women's pair, which was due to be the first C final. Well, as the wind eases off, it's better to start off with the bigger boats. They can handle the wind slightly better than the sculls, the pairs, the doubles, so we'll move them to the back of the schedule. So that's why we have this running order of races for this afternoon, to get the big boats in there first, and then hopefully the wind will have eased right off by the time we get through this afternoon's schedule into the smaller boats. So we have the start here. They're underway and starting to push its nose out in front. We've got the Hungarian 4 over on the far side. We've got our commentary team back out there tracking all of the racing for this afternoon's schedule. So we'll jump straight into the action. Kat, how's it looking up there at the start?
Yeah, it's looking really good off at the start here, Pete. Really excited to be bringing these finals to you this afternoon. I'm here in the commentary car alongside Martin Schumer, who'll be providing the Czech commentary. So the 4s are just moving through 300 metres now. The Hungarians have had a good start. They're half a length up on the other 2 boats. So they're coming into the slightly rougher water now. Coming off the start, the first 250 metres is really sheltered. There are trees behind the start of the course, and that's just preventing the wind from hitting the surface of the water. But as they come through now to 500 metres, there's a little bit more of a ripple and probably more effect coming from the wind. The Hungarians are definitely making the best of these conditions. They're going to come through 500 metres in first place. Their lead has now increased to a length over the Russian crew. They're sitting there in second, just a few feet ahead of Belarus.
Tak dobrý den, já vám popřeju dobré odpoledne. Aktuálně jsme u finále C4 juniorek, první závod dnešního odpoledne. A vepředu se suverénně drží Maďarky. Na druhém místě aktuálně Rusky, třetí Bělorusky. Podle předpokladů z rozjížděk nebo z opravek by nejrychlejší čas vždy měly Bělorusky, aktuálně ale předpoklady nevycházejí a Maďarky se drží suverénně vepředu.
Approaching 750 metres, it's still the Hungarians in the lead. Their lead has been reduced slightly by the Russian crew, just moving up with overlap on them now. The Belarusian crew half a length down on them. So coming into this race, the Hungarians had actually posted the slowest time from the repechage, but they're looking to turn things around here in the C finals. So these 3 boats are contesting for 13th, 14th and 15th place in this event at the Junior World Championships.
Ano, tak už jsme na 850 metrech a stále Maďarky ve vedení, druhé Rusky se ztrátou zhruba 10 metrů a na ně ještě ztrácí 8 metrů loď Běloruska v první dráze. A ještě jak jsem zmiňoval výsledky z opravek, tak zmíním, že v opravce Maďarky dokonce dojeli třetí se ztrátou 5 vteřin za Běloruskami a Ruskami. Ale vypadá, že jim to dnes chtějí vrátit a zatím se jim to daří. I když nám do cíle stále zbývá 1100 metrů. Uvidíme, třeba s tím Rusky nebo případně Bělorusky něco ještě udělají.
So coming up through halfway now, it's still Hungary at the front of this C final. The Russian crew sitting just behind them have just inched forwards to close that gap a little bit. They're still there in second place, but now only half a length down on the Hungarian crew. So Belarus just dropping back a little bit here. They're a length behind Russia now as we move away from the 1,000-meter mark. So there's one returning competitor from last year's World Championships here, and she's in the 3-seat of the Belarusian crew, Anisha Sis from Belarus, 18 years of age, just sitting there in 3rd place here in this C final. But at the head of the field, it's Hungary, followed by Russia.
Tak umístění posádek se zatím nezměnilo, i když Rusky se na Maďarky víc dotahují, ale stále ztrácí, budou to nějaké 5-4 metry ztráta. Bělorusky v první dráze stále vzadu. A když ještě teďka máme čas, tak bych rád zmínil, že zde závodí 2 dokonce 15letá děvčata, a to Alessia Dubrovská v posádce Běloruska a v posádce Ruska je Liliana Puškareva, která je také 15 let. Narozeniny oslaví obě děvčata až v prosinci.
Moving away from 1,250 metres, the Hungarian crew still in the lead, but they've just snagged a couple of finishes over the last 15 strokes, and that's allowed the Russians to sneak up on them, decreasing the lead somewhat. The Hungarians have responded to that, and they're now pulling away from the Russian crew, possibly 2/3 of a length ahead. Belarus also moving up on the Russian crew. They've got overlap now. They were sitting a length down through the first half of the race, but now they've got a canvas overlap. So 500 meters to go. It's Hungary, half a length up on Russia, half a length up on Belarus.
Tak a my naježdíme do poslední 500 a pořadí stále bez změny. Vepředu Maďarky, půl lodi za nimi děvčata z Ruska a na 3. pozici se stále drží Bělorusky. Ztrácejí zhruba půl lodi, uvidíme, zbývá nám 400 metrů. Vypadají, že děvčata trošičku teďka najela do větší vlny, jelikož tady v cíli, nebo respektive v druhé polovině trati nám začíná více foukat, ale nevypadá, že by to děvčata nějak rozhodilo. Stále si drží svoje docela hezké tempo, řekl bych, a uvidíme. Zbývá 300 metrů, tak jestli s tím třeba něco Rusky udělají, dostanou se na první místo nebo ne? Uvidíme, nechme se překvapit.
300 metres to go, and Hungary still lead Russia by half a length. Russia now a length ahead of Belarus. This is the performance of the regatta from the Hungarian crew leading this C final. They've really improved, picking their way through the field in this regatta. This is a big improvement from what we saw in the heats from them. And again, they were trailing at the back of the repechage yesterday, so they'll be very pleased to lead this C final over Russia by half a length. Russia with 3/4 over Belarus. Over to you, Pete, for the final 200.
Well, Kat, the pressure's on. Here come Russia. They go up to 38 strokes a minute, stroked here by Katerina Pankova. Really trying to wind it up for a strong finish here to contend place 13 in the World Rowing Junior Championship ranking. Not much of a reaction yet from Hungary. Have they burnt it all out in the first 1500? That's going to be the sprint to the line.
Sledujeme finále C o 13., 14. a 15. místo. Aktuálně těsně před cílem Maďarky na první pozici, Rusky jako druhé a Bělorusky na 3. místě.
Belarus getting back into it into the last 50 or so meters. I think the position's looking locked in now as we come to the line. Oh, a bit of flying water from the Hungarians, but I think they've earned themselves just enough of a margin. There's a canvas in it to Hungary across the line ahead of Russia and then Belarus. So that's the 1, 2, 3 in that order. We see them conclude the first final here at the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships Račice. It's a great start to this afternoon's schedule of finals. The first final done for the women's 4.
Juniorské 4, konkrétně teď juniorky, které dojeli svůj závod na juniorském mistrovství světa. Maďarky vítězky finále C, závodnice z Ruska na 2. místě se ztrátou 59 setin. Velmi těsný souboj, Bělorusky jsou na 3. místě, ztrácely pouze vteřinu a 68 setin.
We move on now from the women's C final to the men's 4 C final. It's a 5-boat lineup. We've got Norway in lane 1, Sweden in 2, Denmark 3, Russian Federation in 4. They were given a yellow card for a traffic violation near the start. And then completing the field, Hungary in lane 5.
Zůstáváme u finále C i čtyřky bez kormidelníka, dostáváme se ale k juniorům. Norové, Švédové, Dánové, Rusové a Maďaři. Prvních 5 drah, které jsou připraveny právě teď.
So good to be able to see a quick recap of the start, make sure they get out cleanly, but we catch up with the live pictures as they approach halfway. This is Denmark out in front, but it's oh so tight in the middle of the field there, Paul.
Has gone out to a lead of about half a length ahead of Hungary and Sweden, both overlapping on the Danes. And then there's about another half a length back also to the Russian crew. And completing the Scandinavian scuffle, here come the Norwegians. They're still overlapping on the Russians. I was delighted when, after that rather extended so-called lunch break, the arrival of these crews on the water heralded quite a cheer from the grandstand, the many patient family members and friends who had stayed around during that long break to cheer this crew on. Marvellous to see that kind of loyalty, to see these crews being cheered as they go up to the start, and I hope to hear at least twice that noise as they come down towards the finishing line. We're getting on for 2/3 of the way through this C final of the men's fours, and Denmark whipping it up again to try and find some clear water for the first time. At the moment, they're just a length up on Sweden and Hungary.
3 státy ze severu Evropy si jedou na prvních 3 drahách, to znamená Norsko, Švédsko a Dánsko. Nejlépe se daří Dánům a na druhé místo se v tuto chvíli jedou sice Maďaři, ale teď tam výrazně zrychlá ruská loď. A u té stojí za připomínku, že jsou to závodníci, kteří jsou prvním rokem junioři a můžou tedy na mistrovství startovat ještě i příští rok. Takže jsou tady, tak bych řekl, na zkušenou a už se jim vidím, že se jim daří a že se postupně propracovají na druhé místo. Takže Dánsko, Rusko, Maďarsko, Švédsko a Norsko, to je zatím pořadí průjezdu do poslední doby asi tak 550 metrů před cílem, ale Dánové stále si udržují mírný náskok, jedou teda svižně nad vodou, tak jak se sluší a patří, po větru silném, ale další závodníci, to už je teď zase vyrovnané, takže Rusko zatím teď na druhém místě.
Well, the wind has backed off a little bit from what it was like early in the afternoon, but there's still quite a sticky period in the middle of the race where one's got to be particularly careful to get nice clean finishes, hang on to that blade as well without over grasping it. The Danish 2-man nearly lost his a while ago but recovered it in fine form. Denmark continuing to go up the ramp, quite extraordinary, very high rating here all the way down the course, and they've now found that clear water for which they were looking from a very early stage. This lineup from the Holstebro Club, an entirely club crew, coached rather by Søren Madsen, and a successful Olympian for Denmark. Denmark putting a lot of money into reconstructing their national rowing centre on Bogsværk Lake over the next 18 months, and I hope this will mean a lot of good facilities for young men and women like those we're seeing on the water this afternoon. The chase to the line, it's Denmark ahead of a closely bunched group of 3-4s behind them.
Certainly is a tightly packed field there, Paul. Coming into the last 200 metres now, Denmark have had a great race here. They've held on to the lead, but they've been under so much pressure. Russia really winding it up now. They're at 38. We've got Sweden at 39. Denmark, the most pushed here to hold on to that lead at 41.
Ve finále C zatím nejlépe Dánové ve 3. dráze, na 2. místě Rusové a ve dráze číslo 2 Švédové teď bojují o 3. místo.
Here comes Hungary on the far side, moving up through Sweden, it looks like, as we get into the closing stages here, but crossing the line to place 13th in the rankings, we have Denmark, ahead of Russia for 14th, 15th Sweden, 16th Hungary, and then coming in for 17th place on the near side, we have Norway.
Viděli jsme tam také souboj o 3. a o 4. místo. Opět opakujeme, že je to finále C, tedy v celkovém pořadí o 13. až 18. místo. Dánové na první pozici, čas 6:12:18. Počkáme si ještě na 2. a na 3. místo. V každém případě na velkoplošné obrazovce teď můžete vidět Dány, Rusové na 2. místě a jako 3. v tomto finále C Švédové.
metry dozadu.
Approaching 12.50, it's still Peru in the lead, but Norway now have overlap on them by a canvas. Behind them, it's still Sweden, but Hungary have moved up in the last 20 strokes. Now with overlap on Sweden, pushing through into 4th place from Japan, who've slipped back into 5th. The girls from Peru have put a push on here, coming through 12.50. They've regained their lead of a length over Norway, who in turn have 3/4 of a length over Sweden. So looking at this Peruvian crew, in the middle of the boat there, we have a set of twins. We've seen lots of twins competing at this regatta. These are the Palacios twins, Valeria and Alessia, both 18 years of age. This boat stroked by Chantal Zagara, and in the bow seat, Alexandra Castro. So Peru still lead by a length over Norway, but the Swedes are catching up on the Norwegians now. They're still holding on to 3rd place, but they've moved away from Hungary, who retain 4th ahead of Japan.
Tak do cíle nám zbývá 550 metrů a Peru stále ve vedení, zhruba loď před Norkami. Ale na Norky se aktuálně začínají dotahovat Švédky, tak uvidíme Švédky aktuálně metr za Norkami, tak uvidíme, jestli z toho ještě něco udělali, jestli se třeba před ně dostanou. Ale musím zmínit, že Peru stále vepředu, stále si hlídá tu lodičku náskoku a nevypadá, že by je Norky mohly dojet. Ale jestli doženou Švédky, jestli se dostanou před Norky, to teprve ještě uvidíme.
350 meters to go. Peru still hold on to that length lead ahead of Norway, but here come the Swedish crew. They've increased their overlap on Norway. They're just sitting a canvas now as we come into the final stages. Still a length up on Hungary, who in turn a length up on Japan. But this excellent blade work from the Peruvian crew is holding them still at the front of this C final. We're contesting here for places 13 through to 17 in this women's quads event. So with 250 meters to go, Peru still lead the way with Norway and Sweden on the charge. Over to you, Pete.
Sweden certainly are on the charge, aren't they? They go to 37. Annie Nyman in the stroke seat, trying to wind it up for a strong sprint finish, see if they can hand it to the Norwegians in the last 250 meters here. They're absolutely neck and neck. They're bow ball for bow ball. 200 meters to go. No reaction yet from Norway. Ida Kivik Sandvik not yet trying to raise the rating. They might need to do it soon if they want to challenge for 14th place ahead of Sweden.
Závodnice z Peru stále na první pozici, ale dobře sledujte ten souboj o druhé místo ve finále C mezi dráhou číslo 2, kde jsou Švédky, a Norky dráze číslo 5. Tohle to je opravdu metr na metr.
It's an amazing sprint finish from Sweden here. They've got contact again with the leading Peruvians over in lane 4. They're coming up towards the line here. Peru are going to hold on to it, I think. They're at 37. They've got half a length now on Sweden in this great sprint finish. And we see Peru cross the line, half a length ahead of Sweden, who have a 1/3 of a length on Norway. Coming in then for 4th place in this C final, we have Hungary ahead of Japan in 5th. So that concludes places 13 through 17 in the Women's Quadruple Sculls Junior Championship rankings.
A je skvělé vidět radost v tvářích závodnic, kterým to třeba nevyšlo na finále A nebo B, ale i v Cčku tady bojovali. Švédky mají neskutečnou radost, protože určitě jen o několik setin, a za malou chvíli to uvidíme, porazili závodnice z Norska, tak nakonec to byla přesně 1 vteřinka. Závodnice z Peru ale vyhrály finále C za 6 minut 48 vteřin a 3 setiny.
I think that background shot's probably the one they wanted for the Norway crew, but here we have Peru winning that in 6:48.03, Sweden 2nd, Norway 3rd, Hungary 4th, and Japan in 5th. That concludes the C final for the Women's Quadruple Sculls.
Peru, Švédsko, Norsko na 4. a 5. místě, pak Maďarky a s odstupem Japonky.
Next up then, we've got the C final for the men's Quadruple Sculls. Norway in lane 1, Lithuania in 2, Italy in lane 3, given a yellow card for being late to the start, Ireland in 4, Ukraine 5, and Sweden in lane 6.
Párová 4 juniorů a rozhodně velký souboj. Norsko, Litevci, závodníci z Itálie, Irska, Ukrajiny a Švédska. Souboj, který můžeme vidět právě teď.
Well, Paul, it's been a blistering first 1,000 for the Italians.
It certainly has. They got the best start. The Norwegians tried to go with them off the start, but rapidly got left behind, and the Italians have continued to attack all the way down to the 1,000-meter mark and beyond. They're now a length clear of the rest of the field that's headed by Ireland in second place. Ireland has the first hint of clear water now ahead of Ukraine, who are currently lying third. Then it's Sweden in fourth over on the far side where the coaches are cycling along, and Lithuania and Norway a little behind. At 12.50, it looks at the moment as if Cella, Sartori, Pedron and Tonelli are well on their way to a finish overall as top of the C final. And top of the C final means that you're ranked 13th overall in the world level. So a good row by them. They've improved through this competition, probably a little unhappy with their times, not to have gone through to an A or B semi-final. The fastest time on paper this morning, and do pity all these young men and women this afternoon. They've already done this course this morning. So great performance to be doing it again at 1,500. Italy increasing their lead ahead of Ireland.
Takže určitě takový menší zklamání je pro italskou výpravu, že jejich čtyřka startuje až ve finále C. Na to nejsou zvyklí, protože pokud si pamatuje z loňského mistrovství Evropy seniorů i z předloňského mistrovství Evropy seniorů B, takže tam jsme neustále slyšeli italskou hymnu a pro ně musí jít určitý zklamání, ale snaží se to aspoň vynahradit vítězstvím v finále C. Na druhém místě Irové, ti jsou taky zvyklí na lepší výsledky, o Ukrajincích ani nemluvím, Švédové ty jedou tak ten svůj průměr s nejmladším účastníkem tohoto mistrovství. Na 5. místě jede loď Litvy a pole finále C nám uzavírají veslaři Norska.
Well, the youngest of the three, Mattei, in this Italian crew has got another 2 years to go at international level. Matteo Sartori in the 2-seat. And if this is anything like a sign of things to come, we can expect some real fireworks from whatever crew he's in next year. The Italians have led this race from the start and in convincing form now come down towards the line. Meanwhile, the question behind them is, can the Ukrainians reel in the Irish, and what have the Swedes, Lithuanians and Norwegians got left to the line? Over to the tower.
Well, Italy looking so good out in front. The youngest man in the boat, also the tallest bloke in the boat. He's got a great set of power here, and he's got 2 more years, as Paul says, in the junior qualification period. But leading the way, 41 strokes a minute ahead of Ireland, currently in second, coming under pressure from over on the far side, Ukraine.
Italové drží od začátku tohoto závodu první pozici, Irové jako druzí, Ukrajinci třetí pozice a teď to bude souboj právě o 2. a 3. místo.
So Italy take the win, just over a length up on Ireland, who have a third of a length on Ukraine. That's the 1, 2, 3 in this C final for the men's quads. Sweden take 4th place over on the far side, and then completing the field we have Lithuania in 5th ahead of Norway in 6th.
Tak jak to vypadalo po první 500, vypadá to také v cíli minimálně v souboji o 13., 14. a 15. místo, tedy o 1., 2. a 3. místo ve finále C. První Italové, druzí Irové a na 3. pozici Ukrajinci.
Next up, then, we've got the C final for the women's double sculls. Alessandra Rojek and Veronika Kazmierczak for Poland in lane 1. Una Juzinaite and Dovile Rimkute for Lithuania in lane 2. Kira Moynihan and Kira Brown for Ireland in lane 3. Valentina Cavalar and Julia Hanic for Austria in 4. Arias Vitanovic and Isabella Krakic for Croatia in 5. And then completing the field, Masa Bugarski and Jana Tarabic for Serbia in lane 6.
Finále C pokračuje závodem dvojskifu juniorek. Polky v první dráze, Litevky v dráze číslo 2, následují Irky, Rakušanky, Chorvatky a Srbky. Po prvním mezičase na první pozici závodnice z Litvy.
Well, they've just passed through 500. You can see Lithuania out in front, under pressure from Croatia and Austria over on the far side and Poland on the near side. But Kat, conditions looking a lot better as the wind's easing off.
Yeah, the conditions are starting to look up a bit here at this 750-metre mark. Those ripples on the water, possibly we'd even call them small waves on the water we saw earlier in the day, are starting to die down a bit as the wind drops. So slightly better conditions for these doubles racing here, and it's the Lithuanians leading this race, coming through 750 metres, but there's very little separating the four crews behind them. We've got Croatia, Austria, Ireland and Poland. Stroke for stroke, there's about a foot separating these four crews. They have an advantage of some 2-3 lengths now over Serbia. They're out the back in 6th place, but very tight for places 2 through to 5 in this C final.
Tak Litevky v tomto finále C se drží teď už aktuálně docela dosti ve vedení, ale za nimi se strhne souboj o druhé, respektive o celkové 14. místo. Zatím na tom nejlépe z těch dalších vypadají Chorvatky, za nimi Rakušanky, pak Irky na 4. pozici a 5. jsou aktuálně děvčata z Polska. 6. dvojskiv Srbska trochu více ztrácí, bohužel, ale vraťme se zpět k těm vepředu. Litevky tedy ve vedení, Chorvatky druhé. Najíždíme do druhé poloviny tratě.
Coming through halfway, the Lithuanians have got a length lead now, and it's the Croatians coming in second behind them. They've moved clear of these other 3 boats that were so close on the Croatians earlier in the race. Behind Croatia, it's Austria, and then a little way back to Ireland and Poland. But a really good first half from this Lithuanian double. They just missed out in the heats to Greece to qualify directly for the semi-finals. They had to go through the repechage and completed the CD semi-final earlier today. It's a great performance for them, leading this C final ahead of Croatia.
Tak Litevky stále ve vedení a myslím, že ještě více a více stále ujíždějí ostatním. Stejně tak to dělají Chorvatky, ale Chorvatky jsou furt ve ztrátě téměř délka jedné lodi. Ztrácí na děvčata z Litvy. A loď za Chorvatkami se drží Rakušanky na 3. místě. Ještě bych připomenul, že toto je souboj o 13. místo, takže aktuálně na 13. pozici z celkového mistrovství světa by skončily Litevky, za nimi Chorvatky a pak Rakušanky.
Moving away from 1250, Lithuania still in front, but they're really being challenged now by the Croatians over in lane 5. Croatia moving up on them every stroke now. It's just a canvas lead that the Lithuanian double are holding on to. And that push from Croatia has taken them clear of Austria. This Austrian duo were the fastest qualifying crew from the semi-final earlier today. They were some 9 seconds clear of the Irish crew just behind them. And back now, some clear water to Poland in 5th place. The Serbians just off the pace of this very fast C final back in 6th.
Tak v umístění posádek, nebo v pořadí v posádkách se zatím stále ještě nic nezměnilo. Litevky ve vedení, když dotahují se na ně Chorvatky, které jsou aktuálně na 2. pozici se ztrátou půl lodě, 3. Rakušanky. Ještě bych rád zmínil výsledky například z dnešního dopoledního semifinále CD, kde třeba Rakušanky porazily Litevky, ale vypadá, že Litevky pošetřily očividně síly a teď aktuálně se drží ve vedení. I když dejme si pozor na Chorvatky, které ztrácí už jenom 2 metry. Tak uvidíme, jak to dopadne.
350 metres to go, and that push from the Croatians is starting to take effect. They're now just a couple of feet behind Lithuania. The Lithuanians are looking over to their left. They can see that charge coming from Croatia. Can they respond to it? The Austrians also starting to move up, but they're still a length down on these other 2 boats. This push from Croatia is drawing them level with Lithuania. We're looking to contest places 13 through 18 and pride of place in this C final. This push from the Croatians has now been answered by the Lithuanians. We're coming to the last 250. Pete, let's hear it from you.
Well, Lithuania, as you say, Kat, under so much pressure. We see Una Juzenaitia in the bow seat there, having a quick peek across to her left just to check on where the Croatians are. Isabella Krakic and Arija Svitanovic holding it steady at 39 strokes a minute. Lithuanians go up over 40, I think, really feeling that pressure at the front of this C final for the women's double sculls passing the grandstand.
Sami teď můžete sledovat na velkoplošné obrazovce nejenom rozdíl a rychlost, ale také aktuální vedení Litevky na první pozici, Chorvatky jako druhé se ztrátou 20 metrů, pak Rakušanky bojují tedy o celkové 15. místo na juniorském mistrovství světa.
Lithuania only in front by a couple of feet, but the Croatians are absolutely sprinting now. They've gone up over 40 as well, and they're absolutely neck and neck at the front of the field here. I think Croatia might just be inching ahead as we come up to the line. They cross the line here, a matter of a foot or two ahead of Lithuania in this C final for the women's double sculls. Third place goes to Austria. Coming in for fourth, we've got Ireland here, and then on the near side, Poland will be fifth ahead of Serbia on the far side for sixth. So that concludes places 13 through 18 in the women's double sculls.
Podíváme se na aktuální výsledky. Chorvatky na první pozici 7-10-56 se ztrátou pouhých 0,4, Litevky na druhém místě a ještě vydržíme ke třetí pozici ve finále C právě v téhleté jízdě, tedy Chorvatky, Litevky a na třetí pozici, na které se nám teď ukazují Rakušanky.
Next race on the course, then it's the C final for the men's double sculls up next. We've got Rory and Patrick Plunkett, brothers from Zimbabwe in lane 1, Stefan Sandu and Gheorghe Scripkaru for Romania in lane 2, Urban Yerman and Isaac Ivansvegeli for Slovenia in lane 3, Joseph Adamson and Lawrence Joss for Great Britain in 4, Alexander Suvorov and Maxim Shevchenko for Russia in 5, and then Boris Dmitrievich and Slavko Savic for Serbia in lane 6.
Právě teď nabízíme finále C dvojskifu mužů. Zimbabwe v první dráze, Rumuni ve druhé, Slovenci ve třetí, Britové ve čtvrté, závodníci z Ruska v páté a závodníci ze Srbska bojují ve finále C v dráze číslo 6.
Well, it's an impressive lead being built up here by the Russian Federation. You can see the trailing boats all neck and neck as they've just passed through halfway, Paul.
Yes, and I was expecting this to be close in a slightly different formation at this stage because, after all, in this morning's racing, Slovenia, Great Britain and Russia all finished within 0.13 of a second of each other. But the Russians have decided that they're not going to go for another nail-biter of that sort, went out to an early lead and have continued to build on it. And they've got a bit of clear water now, so about a length and a quarter advantage or so at 12.50. Behind there, very closely bunched, the Serbian, British and Slovenian crews more or less bow to bow as they come now into the last third of this course. Romania a little bit behind and Zimbabwe off the pace at the moment. Russia continue to lead as we move up to 1500.
Ze začátku to vypadalo, že teda se Rusové nevydrží ten nápor, ale hned od začátku šli do čela a udrží stále náskok. Naopak Britové, kteří jedou teď na druhém místě, začali rozvážněji, stále byli vzadu a teď se postupně dostávají dopředu. Dobře odstartovali také Srbové na 6. dráze, ale ti už teď také nestačí tempu britské posádky a statečně se drží i Slovinci, kteří celou dobu tady předvádí prvních 1500 metrů dobré výkony a poslední 500 vždycky ztrácejí. Takže na 5. místě potom jede loď Rumunska, ty také nejsou zvyklí na takový umístění ve finále C a v finále C uzavírá loď Zimbabwe.
Well, amongst the 10,000, quite unbelievable, 10,000 viewers of the rowing footage yesterday on YouTube was at least one in Zimbabwe who sent us a cheerful message saying thank you very much for the coverage, both in picture and in word. And lots of fingers being crossed here in Harare for Rory and Patrick Plunkett, the twins on the course now from Hilton College Boat Club, who like to go fishing in their spare time. Well, haven't got to that stage yet, but plenty of fish in this lake. We've been seeing them jumping out of the water all through the day. Jumping off the start and on towards the finish now are the Russians, leading home this C final ahead of Great Britain, Serbia and Slovenia as we hand over to the tower.
Well, Serbia really have had a turn of pace over on the far side of the course. Slavko Savic and Boris Dimitrijevic, they're up at 38. They've motored past Great Britain, although it's still quite close. Gaining quickly on Russia, who are still out in front. Great Britain go to 41 to try and respond. Trailing back then in fourth place, we've got Slovenia, who are also starting to build for a quick sprint finish.
Souboj o druhé a o třetí místo. Na první pozici stále vidíme závodníky z Ruska a Rusové to dotáhnou ve finále C, tedy celkově na 13. místo.
This battle between Serbia and Great Britain has developed. They're closing in on Russia, but Russia hold on to the win in this C final, the men's double sculls. It's tough to split them. I think Great Britain took second just ahead of Serbia. We'll have to wait for the official results to confirm those two positions. Slovenia fourth, fifth place then Romania, and coming in for sixth place on the near side Zimbabwe. So very, very tight stuff to the line in the C final for the men's double sculls.
Onen zmiňovaný souboj o druhé a třetí místo nakonec spíše rozhodly desítky centimetrů, bylo to tam velmi těsné. Závodníci z Ruska na první pozici 6:30:37, Velká Británie na druhém místě se ztrátou 1 vteřiny a 55 setin a na třetí pozici skončili závodníci Srbska.
Here come the results then. So Russian Federation won that in 6:30:37. Second place with Great Britain, just a fraction of a second ahead of Serbia for third place. Fourth place Slovenia, fifth Romania and sixth Zimbabwe. That's the running order in places 13 through 18 in the event for the men's double sculls. There are the results then, just to confirm the positions. Russia 6:30:37, Great Britain second, just over 0.3 of a second ahead of Serbia for third, Slovenia fourth, Romania fifth and Zimbabwe sixth. Moving promptly on now, we've got the C final for the men's single sculls. Liam Smith for South Africa in lane 1, John Walkie for Canada in 2, Emil Nakov for Bulgaria in lane 3, Marco Misasi for Brazil in 4, Angel Sosa for Peru in 5, and Melker Persson for Sweden in lane 6.
Nesmírně nabitá soutěž skifařů nedostala do finále A ani B skifaře, které teď uvidíme v Cčku. Jihoafrická republika, Kanada, Bulharsko, Brazílie, Peru a Švédsko. Takové je osazení závodu, které už má za sebou zhruba 800 metrů.
It's so tight on this side of the course. You can see the South African Smith alongside Nakov at the front of the field as John Walkie keeps in touch. But Kat, it's been a good first 1,000 for these three out in front.
Yeah, it absolutely has. Nakov's just pulled through to take the lead from Smith, who led through most of this race. But the very fast start on this course here in this C final came from the sculler from Peru. He had a flying first 4 strokes, found himself out in front, but hasn't been able to match the cruising pace of the rest of these crews. He now finds himself out of the back, and it's Nakov leading ahead of Smith from the Republic of South Africa, back half a length to the Canadian sculler, and now a length behind him to the Brazilian Marco Misasi. It's the Swedish sculler sitting back in 5th with the Peruvian in 6th place.
Tak my jsme už na 11 metrech finále C skifu juniorů. Aktuálně vepředu se nám drží 3 veslaři, samozřejmě nejvíce vepředu Bulhar Emil Nejkov. Na druhém místo se aktuálně vypracoval Kanaďan John Volky a třetí se drží Jihoafričan Liam Smith, který si až do kilometru, řekl bych až do kilometru, držel své vedení. Uvidíme, kdo tedy tento závod vyhraje. Zatím to vypadá na Bulhara Emila Nejkova.
Moving towards 12:50, and it's change at the head of this race. The Canadian John Walkie is pulling through. He nudged his bow ball ahead of Emil Nejkov alongside him just for a couple of strokes. Nejkov's responded and seized that lead back from him. The tussle between these two are now taking them ahead of the rest of the field. They've got a length now over the South African and the Brazilian in lane 1 and 4. It's still the Swedish sculler back in 5th and the Peruvian in 6th, but a battle's developing here at the front of the field between Bulgaria and Canada.
Tak aktuálně stále ve vedení Bulhar Emil Nejkov, ze kterého určitě bude mít radost jeho maminka Rumena Nejková, která ho aktuálně sleduje na tribuně. A je potřeba zmínit o jeho mamince, že to je několikanásobná mistryně světa a samozřejmě také olympijská vítězka z Pekingu, stříbrná medailistka z her v roce 2000 ze Sydney a bronzová medailistka z 2004 z Aten, jeho maminka Rumena Nejková. Ale zpět k tomuto závodu. Emil Nejkov se aktuálně drží ve vedení spolu s Kanaďanem Johnem Valkim. Uvidíme. Aktuálně to balonek na balonek, zbývá nám 470 metrů.
450 meters to go, and the Bulgarian 17-year-old Emil Nejkov still just holding a lead over his 16-year-old rival from Canada, John Walkie. These two scullers now a length up over the Brazilian sculler, Marco Misasi. He's solidified 3rd place now ahead of his South African rival, who's dropped back into 5th behind the Swedish sculler. But now comes the move from the Canadian. John Walkie, 16 years of age, has pushed on through Emil Nejkov. He's now got a length lead. What a fantastic move from him. The Brazilian scullers going with him during level with Nejkov for 2nd position.
Tak John Valky do toho aktuálně šlápnul, na 400 metrech nasadil finish a jede velmi suverénně pro vítězství. Za to Emil Nejkov teď bude mít problémy s udržením 2. místa před Brazilcem Marcom Massisem. Zbývá nám 250 metrů do cíle, uvidíme, co s tím ještě udělají chlapci.
It's the Canadian leading the way now with more than a length over Bulgaria and Brazil. What's going to happen for these final places, Pete?
Well, we knew it was coming. We knew that John Walkie is a powerful athlete, certainly when it comes to the last 500 metres, and he's rocketed into the lead. He was gradually building, but now he's had a turn of pace here. He goes up to 39 strokes a minute. He's motored past Nejkov. He's motored past Misasi, who are still rather close in those central lanes. I think Misasi is starting to put on a bit of a sprint finish here. He wants to try and contend with Walkie for the line.
Kanaďan John Walkie na první pozici, to je pozice, kterou už si určitě nenechá utéct. Teď to bude ale souboj mezi Brazilcem a právě několikrát zmiňovaným Bulharem. Brazilec ale nasadil tempo a pojede si ne pro druhé, ale možná dokonce pro první místo.
It's such a gutsy finish here, but John Walkie just clings on to it as we see a solid sprint finish from Marco Misasi, finishing half a length behind him. 3rd place then is Emil Nejkov for Bulgaria. 4th on the far side, Melker Persson for Sweden. 5th, Liam Smith for South Africa, and 6th place, Angel Sosa for Peru. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the C final of the men's single sculls for places 13 through 18 in the championship rankings.
Nakonec to Brazilec Marco Misasi nestihnul, ale pokud by se závodilo ještě o 20-30 metrů dále, možná by dostihl i vedoucího Kanaďana, který tedy zvítězil. Na druhém místě Brazilec a Emil Nejkov za Bulharsko na 3. pozici ve finále C.
We move on now from the men to the women's single sculls C final. Maria Vasychuk for Ukraine in lane 1, Liane Maupin for France in 2, Ilaria Maki for Slovenia in 3, Catherine Williams for South Africa in 4, Elin Lindroth for Sweden in 5, and Madeleine Markova for Bulgaria in lane 6.
Souboj o 13. místo ve finále C a konkrétně juniorky na skifu. Ukrajinka, Francouzka, Slovinka, Jihoafričanka, Švédka a Bulharka. Takové je obsazení jmen v tomto závodě.
Here's their start. Nothing too remarkable out of those 6 scullers as they get their boats up to speed. But Ilaria Maki, I love watching her scull. She's out in front by a length now. Powerful young athlete from Slovenia leading the way towards halfway. It's a great start for her, Paul.
Yes, well, she's really torn the field apart. In fact, kept up a very high rating all the way. Splendid work by quite a considerable margin. The fastest of the qualifiers for this C final in this morning's racing, and proving that that was no flash in the pan. Pursued best by Lindroth of Sweden at the moment. Those 2 scullers then have quite a gap of clear water back to the remaining contestants. Pretty close behind them between South Africa, France and Bulgaria, with Ukraine bringing up the rear. But up 1,000 meters, it's all Maki's race for Slovenia.
A slovinská závodnice, která jede na čele, tak ta si také vyzkoušela tuto dráhu, račickou dráhu, při mistrovství České republiky juniorů, kam přijeli a zkoušela si to tady zatrénovat. A doufám, Slovincům se aspoň povede zvítězit v finále C. Na druhém místě jede ta švédská závodnice, ale ostatní pořadí Francie, Jihoafrická republika a Bulharsko, tak tyto lodě jedou pomalu v jedné rovině. Ale jsme těsně za polovinou trati. Zpět nám zůstává ukrajinská závodnice, ale teď se švédská závodnice pomalu, ale jistě dotahuje na dosud vedoucí slovinskou veslařku. Takže uvidíme za malou chvíli, že švédská výprava by také chtěla nějaký dílčí úspěch a to by znamenalo třeba vítězství ve finále C.
Chères spectatrices, chers spectateurs, j'espère que vous êtes toujours là. Les Bluets le sont en tout cas. Nous avons 3 bateaux de la France toujours. Voici une bluette qui est maintenant en route. Léon Maupin maintenant en 4e place. Nous sommes sur le skiff des femmes. Elle a besoin de vous, mesdames et messieurs. Alors, allez-y, criez, hurlez et soutenez votre équipe de la France. Mais c'est la Suède qui mène en tête maintenant devant la Slovénie. Sweden's Lindroth has gone through with a powerful push of about 20 plus strokes, moving away from 12.50. That's caught Maki by surprise, who may have thrown a little bit too much too early at this race. Starting to tire now. Looks as if she's waiting for a second win, but Lindroth has taken advantage of that tiredness to cruise through as we move up to 1500. Meanwhile, in 3rd place, Williams of South Africa, about half a length up on 2 very evenly matched scullers who can't really see each other terribly easily at the moment. Maupin for France, and then the Bulgarian sculler Markova well clear of the back runner Vashchuk of Ukraine. 1500 gone, and Sweden now leads this C final, the women's sculls, by quite a significant margin.
Takže já bych jenom nemluvil o slovinských veslařských a veslařkách. I švédští veslaři často využívají této labor arénu v Račici k jarnímu rozveslování, protože mají ještě zamrzlou vodu u nich, takže i Švédové to tady znají dobře. A švédská veslařka si jede zcela jasně, teď už pro vítězství zlomila odpor slovinské veslařky. A je zajímavé, že Slovincům docházejí vždycky v poslední druhé polovině, jim dochází síly, první polovinu závodní dráhy jedou dobře a v druhé polovině vypadá, jak když jim síly docházejí. Na 3. místě je pořád jihoafrická veslařka, na 4. místě Bulharska, 5. Francie a na 6. místě se drží loď Ukrajiny.
Well, Lindroth and Maki, the only 2 scullers to finish under 8 minutes this morning in this race. But Lindroth has completely turned the tables on Maki. Seems to have recovered better in that weight since this morning's racing. All credit, though, behind them to Williams of South Africa coming storming through at 17.50. That's the 1, 2 and 3. Over to Peter O'Hanlon.
And she looks so strong out in front of Lindroth for Sweden. She's at 34, Maki's at 33. Neither of these two yet going for the sprint. But in 3rd place, not too far behind, we've got the South African Catherine Williams. You can just see in the middle of the field there, alongside Madeleine Markova, who's trying to come back into it from the far side of the course. But I think the position's looking pretty locked in here.
Dominantní postavení Elin Lindrothové ze Švédska můžete teď také pozorovat zhruba 150 metrů před cílem. Pojďme se podívat také na 2. místo Slovinky a Jihoafričanka, která drží 3. pozici. Hodně velký souboj teď mezi 3. a 4. místem. Jihoafričanka bude muset ještě bojovat.
Coming in to cross the line then, Elin Lindroth for Sweden takes the win in this C final, the women's single sculls. She's 2.5 lengths up on Ilaria Maki for Slovenia, who has 2 lengths over Catherine Williams for South Africa, who has half a length on Madeline Markova of Bulgaria. And then coming in on the near side for 5th place, Liane Maupin for France, ahead of Maria Vaschuk for Ukraine in 6th place. That will bring us to an end for the C final of the women's single sculls. It's been great racing. Elin Lindroth clearly pleased, punching the air there with her time is 7:46.62. But as we see Maria Vaschuk for Ukraine cross the line, that concludes the C final for the women's singles.
Na medaili to pro Švédku na mistrovství světa nebude v této disciplíně, ale je to dílčí vítězství ve finále C a první místo. Na druhém místě Liana Mačová, závodnice ze Slovinska, jako třetí Jihoafričanka Catherine Williamsová se ztrátou 8 vteřin a 4 desetin.
So now we're moving on to the G final of the event, the only G final. It's the G final for the men's single sculls. This is one of the rescheduled races as we start our slightly adjusted schedule for this afternoon's racing. We've got a 3-sculler lineup here. Emmanuel Mburu for Kenya in lane 1, Alexander Melashenko for Ukraine in 2, and Martin Tamoeta for Kiribati/Kiribati in lane 3.
A ještě jednou zůstáváme u skifu, konkrétně skif juniorů a finále G. Vidíme tam závodníka z Keni, Ukrajiny a dalšího závodníka z Quadruple, který teď je v dráze číslo 3 a je aktuálně na druhé pozici po 1 kilometru.
So they're already coming up to 1,400 meters in here, and we've got Alexandra Melashenko for Ukraine out in front. But Kat, tell us the story of the race so far. So we're coming towards 1,500 meters here. Alexander Melashenko for Ukraine still out in front. Nearly a length and a half to 2 lengths up on Martin Tamoeta for Kiribati in lane 3. Better known to others as Kiribati, but it's referred to as Kiribati in the country itself and in the local language. So that's how we shall refer to it. But Alexandra Melashenko is continuing to build this lead at 31. Martin down at 29 as they come into the closing stages. Kat, you there now? Tell us the story of the race so far.
Yeah, we're back alongside the race now, Pete. Sorry about that fumble back there. So the story of the race so far, the Ukrainian sculler has led since the start. He had a little lead over the sculler from Kiribati and a little lead over the Kenyan, but then has extended that lead the whole way down the course. And we're looking at complete reverse of the situation in the repechage yesterday in the regatta. We saw the sculler from Kiribati, Martin Tamoeta, leading there ahead of the sculler from Ukraine. The Kenyan out in the back of this race. I think we're expecting that from the time seen earlier in this regatta, but Emmanuel Mburu of Kenya has been very successful in his rowing career so far over in Africa, picking up medals from all his races there. The Ukrainian sculler continuing to lead here, though, 3 lengths of clear water over his rival from Kiribati as we enter the last 200 meters.
It's been a great race for the Ukrainian. Melashenko still out in front, extending that margin significantly as he starts to pick up the pace so ever so slightly. No reaction yet from Martin Tamoeta for Kiribati over on the far side. I think that they're all comfortable with the positions that they're in at the moment as Emmanuel Mburu for Kenya drops it to 25 on the near side of the course, just coming up to the red buoys that signify the last 250 meters.
Alexandr Melashenko z Ukrajiny naprosto suverénně ve finále G na první pozici, na druhém místě reprezentant Kiribati, teď už ale Ukrajinec, který musí odveslovat poslední desítky metrů, aby si ve finále G jel pro první pozici.
It's a large margin separating these three scullers as we see Alexander Milashenko cross the line for Ukraine, winning the G final here, placing him 37th in the championship rankings, ahead of Martin Tamuaite for Kiribati, who will take 38th place. And a huge round of applause, please, folks, for Emmanuel Mburu of Kenya, just coming into the closing 200 meters of his final here at the World Rowing Junior Championships Rachitse. This will place him 39th in the overall championship rankings. It's been a great race. He's giving it everything. He's wound it back up to race pace for this closing 200 meters here as he concludes his final for the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships.
Dojíždí také reprezentant Kiribati. Oficiálně Republika Kiribati, ostrovní stát v Tichém oceánu, který se skládá z 35 atolů korálových ostrovů a útesů o celkové rozloze 811 km čtvereční. Tenhle ten stát má 100 000 obyvatel a jeho reprezentant právě teď ve finále G dojel na 3. pozici.
Races coming through thick and fast in this afternoon session as we move down to 5-minute intervals between races. It's the F final next for the men's single sculls. Ethan Stanhope for the Bahamas in lane 1, Levani Kuchukidze for Georgia in 2, Yannick Hillier for Bermuda in lane 3, and Risuri for Vanuatu in lane 4.
Hodně pestrá paleta států na mistrovství světa. Bahamy, Gruzie, Bermudy a Vanuatu. Takové je obsazení závodu, které můžeme vidět právě teď.
We catch up with the live pictures as they go through 1200 meters, led by Ethan Stanhope. But Paul, perhaps you could tell us the story of this race up to this point.
Yes, well, the story of this race is that Stanhope has kept me on the edge of my seat from the very first stroke. He nearly fell in at the start. He's had another 2 or 3 really fairly serious wobbles all the way down the course and is leading. And in this race, which is really all about islands, apart from Georgia, the Bahamian sculler who at the beginning of the competition here said he just didn't want to finish last, that was his target, is now leading the F final. He and his brother made sporting history for the Bahamas recently, and that's not easy to do in the Bahamas. It's the country with one of the very highest number of Olympic medals per head of population. But anyway, he and his older brother recently won the first ever medal for the Bahamas at a club rowing regatta in the United States. So perhaps he was being a little bit modest when he just said he didn't want to finish last. At 1500, he's leading, but being pushed harder and harder by the Georgian sculler in the lane next to him. Then there's a lot of clear water back to our 2 other island groups rather, with Rioriso and Yannick Hillier battling it out at the back of the field for Vanuatu and Bermuda. 1500 gone, and it's still a lead now, very slender lead for Stanhope of the Bahamas.
Většinu dráhy se držel na čele z Eldhan Stanhope z Baham, ale teď poslední metry ho předjíždí gruzínský závodník. Gruzínský závodník se dostává teď na 1. místo a zrovna takový souboj bude i o 3. místo mezi Jannikem Hillerem a Risiriu z Vanuatu. Ten také z Vanuatu, ten vedl, jel celou dobu na 3. místě a teď se pořadí mění stejně jako na 1. a 2. místě, takže zajímavý souboj i ve finále F mistrovství světa zde v Račicích.
Well, as we hand it over between the languages, the Georgian sculler went into the lead for the first time. It's about a canvas in it, but he knows he's almost at 1750. He's winding it up. Stanhope of the Bahamas as well, and the 2 remaining scullers giving good chase. Here's the F final of the single sculls. We hand over to the tower.
It's a great turn of pace here as the Georgian enters the last 200 meters. He's at 37. No real reaction yet from Ethan Stanhope as we come into the closing stages. He's at 35 still. We might see a bit of a sprint finish here between these 2 boats because there's only a matter of feet separating them into this last 150. We see that the Georgian scull is still up there at 37, so it's 150 meters for Ethan Stanhope if he wants to move in back into the lead in this F final of the men's singles.
Reprezentant Gruzie se teď dostává ve finále F na 1. pozici, na 2. místě zástupce Baham, Bermudy a Vanuatu. To jsou závodníci, kteří dojedou v tomto finále, tedy na závěr startovního pole na 3. a na 4. pozici.
Last 3 or 4 strokes now, we're going to see Levani Kuchikidze for Georgia take the win in this F final for the men's singles sculls. He crosses the line a length ahead of Ethan Stanhope for the Bahamas. That places them 31st and 32nd in the championship rankings. Coming in for 33rd, we have Yannick Hillier for Bermuda, ahead of 34th Risuri for Vanuatu. Couple more strokes for him. He'll cross the line, and that will conclude the one and only F final here at the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships, the F final for the men's singles.
Souostroví Vanuatu se nachází přibližně 2300 km východně od Austrálie, západně od Fidži a také jižně od Šalamounových ostrovů a jejich reprezentant dojel na 4. místě před několika okamžiky. První pozice Gruzie, na 2. místě zástupce Bahan a jako 3. reprezentant Bermud ve finále F.
We move on now to the E-finals. The first E-final for us this afternoon is for the men's double sculls. We've got Itai Yekutieli and Daniel Dubitsky for Israel in lane 1, Zaur Chernishovi and Zurab Kintiraya for Georgia in lane 2, Martin Spanakis and Pavel Taraba for Slovakia in lane 3, Petros Stavru and Rares Andrei Nechita for Cyprus in 4, and then completing the field for China in lane 5, Li Kai-sheng and Yi Zhuhao.
Dvojskyv juniorů a finále E rozhodně upozorníme na dráhu číslo 3 Slováci Martin Spanakis a Pavel Taraba, proti ním Izraelci, Gruzijci, zástupci Kypru a také Číny v dráze číslo 5.
They're already 1400 meters in. China out in front here, Kat, but how's it looking for everyone else?
Yeah, the Slovakians just behind China, and they led through the first half of this race. Lukas Babic, the Slovakian lightweight sculler, over on his bike on the far side. He's the team leader for Slovakia, giving them a good shout from the bank over there, but they can't hold off this charge from China. China now drawn out to a length lead over Slovakia. Now the Slovakian crew are leading in second place ahead of Georgia. Georgia now ahead of Israel, and it's the crew from Cyprus who came into this final with the fastest time from the rep, who find themselves out the back in 5th place.
A my jsme viděli výborný start od našich slovenských bratrů, jmenovitě Martina Spanakise a Pavola Taraby, kdy vedli zhruba ale na 600 metrů před cílem o to vedení přišli. Nyní se ujímá vedení a posádka Číny, ta už se vybudovala během 100 metrů zhruba loďku náskok. Slovensko teda na 2. místě a na 3. místě nám vesluje Gruzie, na 4. místě Kypr a na tom poslední na dráze číslo 4, omlouvám se, na dráze číslo 4 je Kypr a tam to byla posádka Izraele.
The Chinese crew looking really strong out in front. They've extended their lead to a length of clear water over Slovakia. But here comes Georgia charging alongside Slovakia, now challenging for second place. This Georgian double graduates of the FISA development program challenging for second place in this E-final. Back from them, it's Israel, and back from them, Cyprus. With 200 meters to go, it's China leading the way.
China still at 33, building their lead at the front. Just shows the power through the water. They've got the lowest rate of striking out there, but they're the fastest boat on the water, continuing to edge further and further ahead of Georgia, who are solidifying this second place ahead of Slovakia by nearly a length now.
Finále E je souboj o 3. desítku, v každém případě závodníci jedou naplno a je to vidět také na Číňanech, kteří drží teď první pozici a ve finále E rozhodně na dvojskyfu pro první místo také dojedou.
Last few strokes for China over on the far side. It's been a great race for them, coming back from 3rd to now leading by a couple of lengths clear water. They cross the line to win the E-final for the men's double sculls. Second place will be Georgia, just over a length up on Slovakia, who hold on to 3rd place, a canvas ahead of Israel for 4th. And then coming in for 5th place, we have Cyprus in lane 4. So close stuff there in the E-final for the men's doubles, contending places 25 to 29 in the championship rankings.
Finále E, oficiálně souboj o 25. místo a závodníci z Číny za 6 minut 38 vteřin na první pozici, Gruzijci na 2. místě a slovenští reprezentanti Martin Spanakis a Pavol Taraba na 3. pozici v této jízdě.
Second E-final now of the day. It's for the men's single sculls. Chris Niavares for the Philippines in lane 1. Kenneth Rayner for Zimbabwe in 2. Ivan Zanzakov for Russian Federation in 3. Frane Gabre for Croatia in 4. Brett Taylor for Chinese Taipei in lane 5. And Marlon Moncrief for Costa Rica in lane 6.
Dostáváme se opět k juniorskému skifu finále E. Můžeme upozornit na závodníky z Filipín, Zimbabwe, Ruska a nebo například Chorvata Fane Fabreho. To je závodník, který je v dráze číslo 4. Závod, který odstartoval a už máme k dispozici první mezičas. Rus zatím na první pozici.
They're going through the 1,000 and it's looking really tight there. The Russian only out in front by under a length here, Paul.
Yes, well, he went out to an early lead in this truly intercontinental E-final. A very tall sculler. He's using his long levers to good advantage, but he's not broken any further away from the pack. And our incessant pressure has been maintained by the Zimbabwean sculler to his right-hand side, the Croatian to his left, and the Philippine sculler on the lane closest to the grandstand. So he's not getting away with anything at the moment. Kenneth Rayner of Zimbabwe coming through more and more strongly now in this phase of the race after a relatively slow start. The man from Peterhouse School, who has an interesting combination of idols. Richie McCaw, who used to be terribly good at rugby, and Sir Steve Redgrave, who I don't think was very good at ball games at all. But anyway, 12:50 in, and Russia continues to lead. Zimbabwe in second, and then a close tussle between the Philippines and Croatia.
A to ještě určitě jsme si nemysleli, že chorvatský závodník bude závodit se závodníkem ze Zimbabwe. Ještě to asi netušili ani v chorvatské výpravě. Na čele jede pochopitelně ruský závodník Ivan Zanzakov a ten si drží od začátku. Ten od začátku vyrazil dopředu a drží si náskok a na druhém místě jede závodník Kenneth Rayner ze Zimbabwe. O třetí místo bude Chorvat se závodníkem z Filipín. Na 5. místě jede potom Tchajwan a na 6. místě Kostarika. To jsou závody takhle v tomto pořadí výjíždí do poslední 500 a jistě bude ještě zajímavé sledovat, jak se jim všem bude dařit.
Well, at 1500, the picture of this race starting to change a little bit. Rayner of Zimbabwe came right up on the Russian, had an overlap. The Russian has responded now, and for the first time in this race has raised his rate of striking. He'd done it all so far really through length and power, but he's had to respond to the push from behind. The Philippine sculler in lane 1 had a few rather worrying wobbles recently, but he's now back in action and on course again for the finishing line. The Croatian sculler, Gabre, looking considerably better in the second half than he did in the first. And the two remaining scullers from Chinese Taipei and Costa Rica not out of it by any means yet. This is the E-final of the single sculls, and I know that there's a man up in the tower with a particularly soft spot for at least one of the nations on the course at the moment. So you may just hear a little more passion in his voice as these scullers come down towards the finishing line. But Russia leads the field at the moment with 250 to go ahead of Zimbabwe, Croatia and the Philippines.
Absolutely right, Paul. I might be half Filipino, and you don't see the Philippines contending too frequently at the World Rowing Championships, but it's great to see Chris Niavares for the Philippines here, representing the nation coming into the closing stages of the E-final. But out in front still, Ivan Zanzakov for Russian Federation, leading the way here, coming under so much pressure as the Zimbabwean Kenneth Rayner finds a turn of pace. He's closing in, as is the Croatian. Look at this. It's going to be a real sprint to the line. The Croatian's at 38. We've got the Zimbabwean at 38. They're having a proper sprint finish here.
Rozhodně nejvyrovnanější závod odpoledního sobotního programu juniorského mistrovství světa. Reprezentant Ruska, zároveň ale Zimbabwe a Chorvatska, to je souboj o první, druhé a třetí místo.
Coming out across the line, the Russian does cling on to it. Zanzakov holds on to the win in the E-final for the men's single sculls. Just a matter of an inch or two ahead of Kenneth Rayner for Zimbabwe. Third place, Frane Gabre of Croatia. Fourths on the near side, where we've got Chris Niavares for the Philippines. Fifth place then we have Brett Taylor for Chinese Taipei, and then completing the field, Marlon Moncrief for Costa Rica in sixth place.
Vlastně jen Marlon Moncrief, závodník z Kostariky, měl výraznější ztrátu, jinak závodníci dojeli relativně hodně pospolu a v jednom bloku. Ruský závodník na prvním, reprezentant Zimbabwe na druhém a Chorvat Frane Gabre na třetí pozici, a to konkrétně ve finále E.
Next race on the course, then it's the last E-final here at the World Rowing Junior Championships, the E-final for the women's single sculls. We've got Tamara Mikadze for Georgia in lane 1, Viktoria Zhrutova for Slovakia in 2, Sara Zamali for Tunisia in 3, and Valentina Klimkova of the Czech Republic in lane 4.
Skiff juniorek, finále E a zastoupení České republiky je připravena v dráze číslo 4 česká reprezentantka Valentína Klimková. V trojce Tunisanka, ve druhé dráze Slovenka Viktoria Zhrutová a Gruzijka Tamar Mikadzová v dráze číslo 1.
Looking at the replay of the start here, I make it that Viktoria Zhrutova for Slovakia made the best of the start, but it's all changed coming through the 1,000 here. Hey, Kat, the local favourite out in front.
It is indeed, Pete, the local girl, Valentina Klimkova of the Czech Republic, leading this E-final. She's ahead of the Slovakian sculler, and these two have just moved through the Tunisian Sara Zamali in the last 200 metres. So Zamali of Tunisia had such courage off the start, and she led this final through the first 600 metres, a length up on her two rivals. But she hasn't been able to sustain that boat speed. She's been rowed through now by the Czech and Slovakian scullers. Looking back down the course, it's the Georgian sculler some lengths back in 4th place, but approaching 12:50, it's Czech Republic leading the way.
A jsme na 1250 metrech a tady to vypadá pro českou reprezentantku Valentínu Klimkovou dobře. Ona se postupně propracovala z toho 3. místa až nyní na vedoucí pozici. A za ní zhruba loďku rozdíl vesluje slovenská reprezentantka Viktorie Zhrutová, to má 2. místo, a na 3. místě nám v dráze číslo 3 vesluje Tunisanka. A 4. místo zatím, nebo už bych řekl, až do konce udrží závodnice z Gruzie, ta už má obrovský propastný rozdíl.
It's still Valentina Klimkova for the Czech Republic leading this final. We're 600 metres to go. She was overturned by the Slovakian in Thursday's repechage. The Slovakian beat her in a really close finish by just 1/10 of a second. So the Czech sculler looking to turn that around today, and she's certainly in a strong position to do that with clear water over her rival from Slovakia, who again has a length and a half of clear water over the sculler from Tunisia. It's a long way back now to Tamar Mikadze of Georgia, who's making up 4th place in this final. She's another graduate of the FISA development program, along with the Tunisian sculler Sara Zamali. So 1,500 metres, and it's still the Czech Republic leading the way.
A za 500 nám Valentina drží pohodlný náskok zhruba půl lodi světla. Jenom takový krátký příběh, ona se chvíli pohybovala v juniorské ženské 8 veslici, takže funguje jako takový náhradník neboli náhradnice. Na tomto mistrovství se to teda startuje na skifu, v tomto závodě se jí daří, vede zhruba o půl lodi světla před slovenskou reprezentantkou. Dál už asi o takové 3 lodě světla prohrává Tunisanka a v propadlišti dějin, jak říkám, nám jede gruzijská reprezentantka.
So Valentina Klimkova turning around that result from the repechage on Thursday. She's leading this final a length still ahead of the Slovakian sculler Viktoria Zhrutova. So Valentina Klimkova's here. She's a reserve for the women's 8 for the Czech team, competing here in the single scull, and it's looking good for her as we approach the final stages.
Valentína na 250 má náskok půl lodě světla, doufám, že už to udrží, ona na to určitě má. Slovenská reprezentantka na 2. místě, s větším rozdílem nám vesluje zástupkyně Tunisu a na tom posledním místě nám jede Gruzie.
Over to you, Pete, as this local favourite leads the way home.
Yeah, I don't think much is going to change here coming into the last 200 metres, Kat. She's looking good out in front, 31 strokes a minute. Good upright stroke position here as she takes it away in front of the home crowd. Still leading ahead of Viktoria Zhrutova, who's dropped her rating down to 29, just easing into the last couple of 100 metres here, as is the Tunisian Sara Zamali, who's down at 26. So I think everybody just happy with the positions they're in at the moment. We might see a bit of a push from Zhrutova if she wants to try and close in that margin, but there's only 100 metres to do it.
Valentina Klimková se na skifu ve finále E bude loučit s domácím světovým šampionátem a bude se loučit vítězně. Závodnice, která teď projede v dráze číslo 4 na první pozici, Slovenka Viktoria Zhrutová, bude na 2. místě, ale na domácí českou reprezentantku už to stačit nebude. Valentina Klimková může oslavit toto dílčí vítězství ve finále E ve skifu juniorek.
Valentina Klimkova for the Czech Republic wins the E-final of the women's single sculls, nearly 2 lengths up on Viktoria Zhrutova for Slovakia. Then coming in for 3rd place here we have Sara Zamali for Tunisia. She's just ticking it over at 25 strokes a minute now, eased right off the pace. She'll finish 3rd in this E-final ahead of fourth place Tamar Mikadze for Georgia, just coming into the last 2 or 3 strokes for her, up there at 38 strokes a minute, putting on a nice little sprint finish.
Tunisenka na třetím a Gruzijka teď dojela na 4. místě. Ještě jednou ale skvělý výkon v této jízdě. Valentína Klimková, Česká republika a vítězka juniorského mistrovství světa na skifu juniorek ve finále E.
So that was the last E final. All we got left now are D finals and then the higher level finals. The next up is the D final for the men's pair. We've got pair Ingmar Bujala and Daniel Aronsson for Sweden in lane 1. Martin Animation and Maximilian Hornacek for Austria in 2. Rafael Sales Martinez and Juan Trejo Chavez for Mexico in 3. Noah Merle and Brick Huck for France in lane 4. Gyula Erdeli and Balint Pomazi for Hungary in lane 5.
Intervaly mezi závody jsou v tuto chvíli 5 minut. Jsme tedy teď už u dvojky bez kormidelníka. Švédové, Rakušané, Mexičané, Francouzi a Maďaři. Ty můžeme sledovat právě teď.
Men's pair D final already passing through 1500, so we'll jump straight to the action. How's it looking, Paul?
Well, it's now starting to look like paper form. Austria took quite a long time to show the kind of speed that got them to the fastest position on the start at the D final based on their qualification times, and they've now moved into a lead that looks a lot closer to the kind of times they've been setting so far in this competition. All credit to the French, who went out to an early lead and are still in second place behind them. Then come the Mexicans, who caused our hearts to miss at least 2 beats when they both crabbed, but unfortunately not at the same time, but one after another, and nearly went for a swim. They got it back, though. They've courageously returned to the fray, and but it's clearly shaken them. They've not found that kind of rhythm that we saw this, in their boat this morning. The Hungarians, over 2 lanes to their left, doing well at 1750 as well. Only the Swedes really off the pace. And as the Austrians lead home in fine form, I'll hand over now to the tower.
Short and sweet from you, Paul. Thank you. They're coming into the last 200 meters now. Austria still out in front. Max Hornacek in the stroke seat. Pumps it up to 39, but they've got a comfortable margin. You look back to second place. It's France, where we've got Huck and Merle, who are up to 37. Starting to feel the pressure, I think, from Hungary, who are putting on a real sprint finish on the far side, up at 39 as well.
Závod pokračuje opravdu v rychlém tempu a to především pro Rakušany v dráze číslo 2. To jsou ti závodníci, kteří si podle všeho dojedou v tomto finále s označením D pro první místo. Pojďte společně s námi do posledních desítek metrů.
Last 2 or 3 strokes, we're going to see Austria take the win here in the D final, placing them 19th in the championship rankings. They're 2 lengths ahead of France, who hold on to second place here in this race, half a length ahead of Hungary. We then have, crossing the line, we have Mexico ahead of Sweden. So that's places 19, 20, 21, 22 and 23 in the championship rankings for the men's pair.
Toto jsou už závody, respektive začátek třetí desítky, právě finále D. Na první pozici Rakušané, dvojka bez kormidelníka, na druhém místě Francouzi se ztrátou 4 vteřin a 25 setin a v této jízdě na třetí pozici Maďaři. Doplňme ještě 4. Mexiko a 5. Švédsko.
Next race on the course then is the D final for the women's double sculls. Hungary in lane 1, Nicolette Priel and Flora Rosmaring. We were due to have Denmark in lane 2, Cecile Gierke Christensen and Mia Mellerup. However, they've had to withdraw for medical reasons, so there's no boat in lane 2. Then we've got Ukraine in lane 3, Anastasia Tovstohan and Diana Korolova.
Zdravotní problémy a komplikace vyřadily ze závodu z finále D Dánky ve druhé dráze. Máme ale v dráze číslo 1 Maďarky a v dráze číslo 3 Ukrajinky. Tak to bude ten mini souboj na dvojskifu juniorek v finále D.
Paul, only a length separating this two-boat race as they pass halfway.
Ukraine, but it looked slightly different off the start. The crew from Ukraine had the better start. They had half a length lead over Hungary, but the Hungarian duo have moved through them and they're continuing to move away as we move away from halfway.
My se nacházíme v druhé polovině závodu dvojskifu finále D juniorek. Od startu se to vyvíjelo tak, že Ukrajinky odstartovaly lépe, rychleji, pak jela dlouhou dobu lajna, nebo dá se to říct, je to lajna dvou lodí, ale teď zhruba po nějakých 1100 metrech už mají Maďarky náskok loďky světla a ten si pořád udržují, respektive maličko zvětšují.
Approaching 12:50, the crew from Hungary has got a two-length lead now over Ukraine. For these two boats, it's going to feel slightly different to the racing in previous rounds. They don't have anyone alongside them, so a fairly quiet race for them. It might be an advantage, it might be a disadvantage. They've just got to deal with the situation they're thrown with here in a two-boat final. But now Hungary have the Ukrainian crew in their sight. They're 3 lengths ahead. They're rating slightly higher. They're sitting up tall. That's their style of sculling, and they're continuing to move away from the crew from Ukraine.
Tento závod je podle mého pro závodníka jeden z nejtěžších, protože když vám takhle odhlásí pro jakýkoliv důvod, ať už je to zdravotní nebo pro nějaký technický soupeř a vy potom závodíte jenom na jednu loď, tak je to opravdu psychicky velmi náročné, protože nikdo nechce být poslední. Vidíme, že Maďarky jsou zaměřené na dobrý průtah vodou, kdežto Ukrajinky už tam maličko, nechci říct, že povolili, ale ta psychika hraje strašnou roli, takže 500 metrů před cílem pohodlný náskok Maďarek, druhé místo, respektive poslední, drží Ukrajinky.
Moving away from 1500 metres, 450 metres to go. Hungary leading this. They've got 4 lengths lead now over Ukraine. The stroke woman of the Hungarian boat, Flora Rosmarin, keeping that high rating up ahead of the Ukrainian crew. Their rating slightly lower, 4 lengths down. I can see the stroke woman just looking around to her right. She wants to see if she's still in touch with the crew from Hungary, but I think she'll be able to see their puddles, but perhaps not be able to see the boat now as they've got a long way to make up in these closing stages.
Tato situace se i velmi těžko komentuje, nicméně maďarské reprezentantky mají pohodlný náskok, je od nich vidět to dobré provedení a ta vůle a potom vítězství. Oni už vedou zhruba o 2 až 3 lodě světla nad ukrajinskými reprezentantkami, ty teda zhruba 250 metrů před cílem ztrácejí docela dost.
250 metres to go. It's been a great row for the Hungarian crew. They continue to lead Ukraine as we hand over to the tower.
It is looking good for Hungary out in front. Flora Rosmarin and Nicolette Priel. They're at 37 strokes a minute, so they've wound it up for a proper sprint finish here, but we had a great shot on the big screen there of the Ukrainians, Tostohan and Korolova. They're at 31, just holding on to their race, just making sure that they follow their race plan, but I think that they're going to struggle to get back into contention as these Hungarians have wound it up for a really solid sprint finish here, and they just look so powerful at the same time. They've still got a great upright position, don't look like they've tired whatsoever through this, which is a great sign of some mature rowing here in this D final of the women's doubles.
Maďarky zvyšují svůj náskok vlastně co každých 500 metrů zhruba o 3,5 vteřiny a je to vidět i v tuto chvíli. Ukrajinky tedy dojedou ve finále D na druhém a v tuto chvíli a tento moment na posledním místě. Pojďme si tedy pro Maďarky, které jsou v cíli a jsou dílčími vítězkami finále D, tedy dvojskiff juniorek, závod, který končí i teď průjezdem Ukrajinek na druhém místě.
So Hungary takes 19th place in the championship rankings in the D final of the women's double sculls, and 20th place goes to Ukraine.
Ještě počkáme na oficiální výsledky, spíše i potvrzení časů, tak aby si závodnice mohly srovnat s jednotlivými výkony. Na prvním místě Maďarky, teď nám naskočí také konkrétní čas 7:35:28 se ztrátou 8 vteřin a 38 setin, na druhém místě Ukrajinky.
Next, then, we have the D final for the men's double sculls. Ruben Rappi and Johan Karlstrom for Sweden in lane 1. Shunsuke Shimada and Yu Morinaga for Japan in lane 2. Ivan Tishenko and Ilya Karpov for Ukraine in lane 3. Alonso Poblete Araneda and Christopher Ojeda Ampuero for Chile in lane 4. Int Samenovic and Rovoams Gavrilovs for Latvia in 5. Christopher Fisher and Cooper Tuckerman for the USA in lane 6.
Dostáváme se k závodu dvojskifu juniorů. Švédové, Japonci, Ukrajinci, Čilané, Lotyši a závodníci Spojených států, kteří závodí v tomto závodě.
Wow, it really has been all about these two boats throughout the course so far. They're going through 1,400 meters. Paul, it's looking tight at the front.
Yes, it is. And as bowside bend starts to set in the necks of the commentators after a long, long day of rowing, it's been a long, long way for these oarsmen as well. This is their second 2,000-meter piece today. Another truly intercontinental affair. Chile went into the lead at a fairly early stage. The United States responded, and that's been the leading duo most of the way down the course so far. Latvia behind them in third.
Takže na čele se jedou, ale od začátku odstartovali velmi dobře Čilané. A drželi se na vepředu, pak se na ně dotáhlo od Spojených států amerických, ale ty je pak znova jim kousek odjeli a na třetím místě se drží Lotyšská od kilometru neustále zrychluje loď Ukrajiny a snaží se, protože do cíle ještě dost daleko, tak se snaží zamíchat pořadím. Na 5. místě jede loď Švédska a na 6. místě je to loď.
Well, coming through to this D final, the Chilean crew was about 10 seconds faster than the United States. So Chris Fisher and Cooper Tuckerman have made up good ground coming into this particular race. We're at 17:50, and they've still got an overlap on the Chileans, who have been leading for so long. The Latvians in third, Ukraine behind them, and another tight tussle at the back of the field as well. What fun to commentate from the tower.
Absolutely right, Paul. The sprint is on. Chile at 38. We've got the USA at 37. Chile gradually pulling away from them. I wonder if we're going to see a turn of pace from Cooper Tuckerman and Christopher Fisher as they come into the last stages of this race. They haven't wound it up just yet. Pressure's coming on from Latvia between them, and then we've got Ukraine on the near side trying to get back into this battle as well.
Čilané na první pozici, to je dráha číslo 4, vidíme tam ale také výborný výkon Američanů, kteří aktuálně podle grafiky ztrácí 8 až 10 metrů. Na 3. místě Ukrajinci, tak tohle to bude souboj, ale ještě tam vidíme také výborné další závodníky.
Chile crossing the line here, and Latvia have motored past the USA. The USA take third behind Latvia. 4th place goes to Ukraine in the central lane there. 5th place is so close to call. I can't split Sweden and Japan across the line. We're going to have to wait for the official results for a lot of those positions there. But I can tell you it's these guys on the big screen here. A stunning race from Chile to win the D final of the men's double sculls. 6:36.93.
6 minut 36 vteřin a 93 setin. Na druhém místě se ztrátou necelé 1,5 vteřiny. Závodníci z Lotyšska a Spojené státy na 3. pozici. Lotyši jeli výborně druhou tisícovku, druhou polovinu dnešní tratě.
Here come those results then. Chile won that in 6:36.93. Latvia took 2nd place, just a third of a second ahead of the USA. 4th place, Ukraine. 5th place went to Sweden, 0.2 of a second ahead of Japan for 6th. Start list now for the D final for the men's single sculls. Dia Edine Zoglami for Tunisia in lane 1. Alan Gibor for Israel in 2. Anthony Girard for France in 3. Kome Buruturan for Spain in 4. Hiroki Aoki for Japan in 5. And Christian Linsalu for Estonia in 6.
Skifařské D finále a závodníci a reprezentanti Tuniska, Izraele, Francie, Španělska, Japonska a Estonska. Takové je pořadí od 1. do 6. dráhy.
Well, it's France out in front, and it's a packed field across the rest of them as they pass through halfway here, Kat.
Yeah, that's right, Pete. Coming past 1,000 metres, the French sculler Anthony Girard is out in front. He's got a length lead over the rest of the field, and there's very little separating the other 5 scullers. He hasn't led since the start, however. It was the Estonian Christian Linsalu who led at 500 metres. He had a canvas lead over the Frenchman, who was holding on to that length lead over the rest of the pack. But the Estonian scullers now sort of slip back into the pack. The Frenchman leads, but there's very little separating the rest of the field.
A my jsme u závodu skifu finále D, ale je to nesmírně krásný závod. Od začátku velmi dobře jede francouzský reprezentant Anthony Girard, ten jde opravdu dobře, už má náskok zhruba loďky, ale za ním je to dosti vyrovnané. Na dráze číslo 2 aktuálně vesluje izraelský reprezentant, ten je tak loďku za ním, ale pak to pole je vyrovnané. Dráha číslo 1 Tunis, dráha číslo 4 Španělsko, dráha číslo 5 Japonsko a dráha číslo 6 Estonsko, to je téměř lajna a je to bitva o každé místo.
Moving away from 1250, it's still the Frenchman, Anthony Girard, leaving this race. But the Israeli sculler is now the one to take his chance, take his turn to challenge. He's just a length down on the Frenchman, ahead of the rest of the field now. Third place is the Spanish sculler, Barataran. He's sitting there just ahead of the sculler from Japan. These 4 scullers now moving ahead of the rest of the field.
Za takovou krátkou chvíli se nám to pole trošičku rozjíždí a v popředí neboli vepředu o loďku nám jede pořád francouzský reprezentant Anthony Girard, ten jede opravdu pěkně. Je vidět, že voda se uklidnila a že mu to oproti jiným závodům svědčí. Ten nám vede zhruba o loďku na dráze číslo 2. Je to izraelský reprezentant, to je 2. místo, 3. místo patří Španělovi a 4. místo Japonec. Maličko vzadu na 5. místě nyní Estonec a na tom 6. reprezentant z Tunisu.
450 metres to go. I can hear the coaches shouting from the other side of the course. The Frenchman's looking very good here at the head of the race. He's still got a length lead over 3 scullers. It's so close between 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. The Japanese sculler just moving up on the Spanish sculler. The Israelis still in touch there as well. These 3 fighting it out for those positions ahead of the scullers from Tunisia and Estonia.
Je to závod jak o zlatý hřebík, jak se říká, protože na prvním místě celkem jasně nám jede Francouz, ale 2., 3. a 4. místo se odehrává mezi Estoncem, Španělskem a Japoncem. Tam je to neskutečně vyrovnané a v pozadí nám vesluje Estonsko a Tunis.
250 metres to go. France still leading, but under pressure now from Spain and Japan and Israel.
Well, Barataran has gone up to 39 strokes a minute. He's closing in on the Frenchman coming into the last 250 metres here. Are we going to see enough of a reaction from Girard? Now Barataran goes to 40, Girard goes to 35. We're going to have a great sprint finish here. Aoki's getting into the action too. He's up to 36, and they're not leaving behind Gibor of Israel. He's at 36 too. A great sprint finish. 4 scullers within a length.
Anthony Girard z Francie na první pozici, velký souboj ale se španělským závodníkem a Japonec Hiroki Akio teď bojuje o 3. místo, možná ale půjde ještě dopředu.
He's so powerful. Anthony Girard just manages to pull away again. It's such a tough fight at the front of the field here. He's at 32, just going through the power through the water. We've got the Spanish sculler, Barataran, at 40. Amazing difference in pace here, but we see the French sculler cross the line for the win in the D final of the men's singles. And then it's the Spanish sculler for 2nd. 3rd goes to Gibor of Israel. 4th, Aoki for Japan. 5th, Zoglami of Tunisia. And coming in for 6th place, Christian Linsalu of Estonia. In this D final for the men's single sculls, that locks in places 19 through 24 in the championship rankings.
Skifařské finále D, ale 100% nasazení, jak jsme mohli vidět také v posledních 30 metrech závodu. Na první pozici Anthony Girard, to je závodník z Francie, jako druhý Španěl, na 3. místě Izraelec se ztrátou 2 vteřin a 680 setin, s minimální ztrátou Hiroko Akoi z Japonska, těsně pod těmito stupni vítězů na 4. pozici. Tedy vše platí k finále D.
Now we have the last D final of the whole 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships Rachice, the D final for the women's single sculls. Lauren Bass for Zimbabwe in lane 1, Kyoko Matsuda for Japan in 2, Cassandra Reed for the USA in lane 3, Ermione Lamprianidou for Greece in 4, and Raminta Morkanaite for Lithuania in lane 5.
Dnešní poslední D-finále a skifařky juniorky, závodnice ze Zimbabwe, z Japonska, Spojených států, máme tam také řekyni a závodnici z Litvy od 1. do 5. dráhy.
They've just gone through halfway and it's rather tight there, as you can see at the front, between the Greek sculler Lamprianidou and the Japanese sculler Matsuda contending for the front along with Morkanaite. But Paul, tell us how it develops.
Well, the race opened up at a fairly early stage when Lamprianidou referred to fondly as one of our aquatic biathletes for having been both in and on the water, went shooting away in her very special rowing style. It looks desperately uncomfortable to me, but it's working for her. The trouble is it's so angular that when she does get caught up in a buoy, as she did on the first day of racing here, disaster strikes almost immediately. But at the moment, it's all working for her at 12.50. She's got a clear water advantage over the two other scullers you mentioned just behind her, the Japanese sculler Matsuda and the Lithuanian Morkanaite. They are pretty well bow ball to bow ball all the way down these first 2/3 of the course. And that's true at the moment at the back of the field for Zimbabwe and the United States as well. 12.50 gone and still Greece in the lead.
Takže na čele jede svým osobitým stylem, což si můžeme spíš všimnout. Závodnice řecká, je zajímavost, že ve čtvrtek při rozjížkách se převrhla, vypadla z lodin, znovu nalezla a dojela nakonec do cíle, takže mohla dál závodit ve svých závodech. Takže teď si drží svým osobitým stylem, ale vždycky to vydrží tak 1500 metrů a pak pomalu začne odpadat, takže uvidíme, jak se jí bude dařit dneska ve finále D. O druhé místo bojuje Litevka a japonská veslařka a o to 4., 5. místo ve finále D veslařka Spojených států amerických a veslařka Zimbabwe.
Well, yesterday when the World Rowing commentary team took over Instagram for a day, we had one or two little animals popping up in the middle of some of the pictures. One of our favourite cats, for example, made a fleeting appearance. If you're into that kind of thing, well, someone you might want to talk to is Lauren Bass of Zimbabwe. Her hobbies, apart from rowing, of course, when she's off the water, are a combination of animal fostering and video editing. Perfect for that kind of Instagram shot, I would have thought. But anyway, she's a little off the pace at the moment, I'm afraid to say, for the loyal Zimbabwean fans who've come all this way and are still up in the stands. Still, this race going very much Greece's way. A last D final, clear water advantage still. Lithuanian sculler now about half a length up on Japan as we come towards the 1750 marker. Reed of the United States and Bass of Zimbabwe trailing rather in their wake. We're just about to change now from the yellow buoys, the buoys, to the red colour. That will be a signal to these three leading scullers in particular that this is the time for a little extra push. Yes, and as I speak, Lamprianidou of Greece raises her rate of striking again, working it through all that way. Then the Lithuanian and Japanese sculler over to the tower.
It's a great rhythm she's got, holding her at the front of the field here. She's at 35, Lamprianidou leading the way ahead of now Morkanaite, who's moved up ahead of the Japanese sculler Matsuda coming into the closing stages. So it's looking like we might have a bit of a battle on here if we see Morkanaite really sprint for it alongside the Japanese sculler. But here go another couple of pips for Lamprianidou from Greece. She's decided she really wants a convincing victory in this D final for the women's singles.
Řekně v dráze číslo 4 má největší kadenci záběru a po zásluze je stále na první pozici. Na druhém místě závodnice z Litvy, která teď bude dál bojovat, ale řekně si pojede i v tomto finále s označením D pro první místo.
Not much is going to change now with 50 meters remaining in this race. It's going to be Ermione Lamprianidou for Greece, who takes the win just over a length up on Raminta Morkanaite for Lithuania, who has a length on Kyoko Matsuda of Japan. We then have 2 to 3 lengths clear water back to Cassandra Reed for the USA, who's just a foot or two ahead of Lauren Bass for Zimbabwe across the line. They were contending places 19 through 23 in the championship rankings for the women's singles.
Řecká reprezentantka a první místo ve finále D 7 minut 58 vteřin a 34 setin. Na druhém místě Litevka se ztrátou 2 vteřiny a 4 desetiny a Japonka Kyoko Matsudaová dokázala vybojovat v této jízdě třetí místo. Ztráta přesně 4 vteřiny.
We move on now to the penultimate C final, the penultimate race of the day. It's the C final for the women's pair. It's a two-boat lineup here, Minja Vizi and Iva Lazic for Serbia in lane 1, and Pia Potočnik and Lea Hren for Slovenia in lane 2.
Pokračujeme dvojkou bezkormidelníka juniorek. V dráze číslo 1 Srbky, v dráze číslo 2 Slovinky.
Well, Kat, game on, race on. They've just gone through halfway. It's a matter of a canvas separating them. This looks great.
Pete, I'm really enjoying this race, really enjoying it. Such a fantastic start from the Slovenian boat. You'll see them now, they're sitting half a length down on Serbia, but they had an absolutely cracking start. So they went through the first half of the race with clear water over the Serbians, and it looked like it might have been done and dusted for the Serbian crew. It's such a psychological battle when you've just got two boats on the course. It's really a mental battle as much as a physical one. So the Serbians were sitting there 2 lengths down on Slovenia, and then just before 750 meters, this incredible turn of speed came from Serbia, and they made up 3.5 lengths on the Slovenian crew to take the lead. It was absolutely fantastic rowing from them, and now going through 1250, they're sitting half a length up on their rivals from Slovenia.
Vážení přátelé, já jsem se bál, že tento závod bude velmi nudný, ale není tomu tak, protože od startu nejlépe odjela slovinská dvojka bez kormidelníka. Ta si udělala během 250 metrů zhruba loď světla náskok a stále ho zvyšovala, ale zhruba někde na 750 metrech srbská dvojka dala nástup a stáhla ten rozdíl. Není je dokonce ve vedení zhruba o půlku lodi. Vypadalo to, že bude dále výjíždět ze slovinské dvojce, ale Slovinky do toho opět koply a teď ten náskok udržují, maličko se ho snaží sjet. Nyní aktuálně na 500 metrech před cílem, tedy náskok půl, neboli spíš teď čtvrt lodě srbská, do nich je teda stále píchlá slovinská dvojka bez a je to teda jugoslávský souboj špičku na špičku.
So coming away from 1,500 metres, the Slovenian pair have just put on a push, and they've taken the lead again. They're a foot ahead of Serbia now. So these two boats have already raced twice in this regatta. They raced each other twice. In the heat, it was the Slovenians who took the win by 7 seconds. They did again in the repechage by 2 seconds. But Serbia are really close on them now in these closing stages. There's a canvas separating them. It's looking really strong from both crews.
Tento závod je opravdu nesmírně vyrovnaný, je to krásný se na to dívat, protože posádky srbská ani slovinská si nenechají vůbec nic zadarmo. Přetahují se o to vedení, balónek na balónek, je to opravdu perfektní. 250 neboli spíše 300 metrů před cílem, aktuálně Slovinsko zhruba o půl metru před Srbskem.
So 250 metres to go, and they're matching each other, these two pairs, stroke for stroke. It's as if they're rowing in a 4 altogether. There's just a canvas separating them still. Slovenia have the lead, Serbia just behind. I'm so excited by this race. Pete, talk us through the rest of it.
I can't believe it. They're absolutely level coming into the last 250 metres here. As you say, stroke for stroke, they're both at 36. There's so much unfinished business out here on the water. As you say, they've raced each other a couple of times already. We see Slovenia take it up another pip. We've got Lea Hren in the stroke seat, supported by Pia Potočnik. That they're absolutely sprinting here. Serbia are now dropping back to a length behind.
Minja a Iva ze Srbska versus Pia a Lea ze Slovenska, tak tohle to je souboj, pouze 2 lodě, ale jeden z nejvyrovnanějších soubojů. Teď se jen přeci jenom dostávají Slovenky na první pozici s výraznějším náskokem.
It's the perfect sprint finish here from Slovenia. They've pulled out to a length up now into this last 100 meters. They had that extra gear to go to at 37 strokes a minute. They've opened up the tiniest of margins of clear water, but they crossed the line a length up in this C final of the women's pair to take place 13 overall in the championship ranking, ahead of 14th place Serbia. What a cracking race. They were level throughout. You could see they gave it absolutely everything. A stunning race. This is what rowing's all about. A side-by-side race, 2,000 meters, and it comes down to the sprint finish. They gave it everything. Serbia, lots to be proud of in their performance here in the C final of the women's pair.
Zároveň nejlepší pozvánka na zítřejší finále B a zároveň na zítřejší souboj o medaile ve finále A, protože tohle to bylo C-čkové finále, nakonec rozdíl 2 vteřin a 57 setin, kilometr a 900 metrů, to ale opravdu bylo o centimetry. Slovinky na prvním, Srbky na druhém místě v tomto krásném souboji.
Now, folks, it's the last C final and the last race of our day here on day 4 of the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships, Račice. Nikita Kachichin and Dmitry Zinchenko for Moldova in lane 1, Gregoire Lemur and John Gallagher for the USA in 2, Hamish Wynne-Pope and Jack Thornton for Australia in lane 3, Shi Huasheng and Yu Jialin for China in 4, Davrion Davronov and Evgeny Agafonov for Uzbekistan in 5, and then Semen Kravchuk and Alexei Tratnik for Slovenia in lane 6.
Čeká nás poslední souboj dnešního sobotního programu juniorského mistrovství světa, dvojka bez kormidelníka, Moldavská republika v dráze číslo 1, Spojené státy ve dvojce, Australané v trojce, Číňané dráha číslo 4, Uzbekistán dráha číslo 5 a Slovinci bojující v dráze číslo 6.
1200 meters in and we're being treated to some really exciting racing as we get back into the C finals now. And for the last time today, we're going to say good afternoon to Paul Castle and say, take it away, Paul.
Yes, thank you very much, Peter, and thank you, audience, both here live and around the world. You've been listening to our voices for 6 of the last 9 hours, and it's been a long day for these oarsmen as well. One race already under their belts, but you wouldn't know it from the pace that's being set by the Chinese, in particular, at the head of the C final. She in the bow seat, Yu at stroke, went out at an early stage, caught the crews beside them. The Australians and Uzbekis slightly by surprise when sensed. The Slovenians, United States and Moldovan crews also trouble keeping up with that kind of Chinese pace. This field now spreading out in a classic chevron form as they approach 1500 with China in the lead.
Čínská loď, ta je ve vedení, už od začátku jede vysokou frekvencí. Chvíli se s ní držela loď Uzbekistánu, ale postupně jejich nápor zlomili. Já stále čekám, kdy přijde nápor australské posádky, která vypadala pořád, že jede takový klidný, dlouhý tempo. Ale ten nápor nepřichází, naopak Slovinci se drží na 4. místě, nikdo také nečekal. 5. místo ve finále C lodi Spojených států amerických a pole nám uzavírá zatím Moldávie, ale ještě se může za těch posledních 400 metrů stát ledacos, ale čínská posádka vypadá, že to již asi udrží.
Well, this is quite a change in race tactic from the Chinese, a rather more timid approach to their previous races, but this one they've gone boldly out from an early stage, seized the lead and looked determined to hang on to it. They've got a clear water advantage over Uzbekistan on their left, who are up about half a length on the Australians on their right. Still very much in contention at the top of the field. The Slovenians pushing towards the line as well. The United States also approaching 1750 with Moldova a length or so off the pace behind them. China lead as we come down to the tower.
They're still out in front and looking so good out in front because they're up there at 39, 40 strokes a minute now, trying to wind it away from Uzbekistan and Australia, who are nearly level. The Uzbekistanis at 39, Australia at 36. They've certainly got an extra gear to go to. If they can find it any time now, they might be able to draw back level with Uzbekistan.
Číňané nechtějí pustit svoji šanci na vítězství ve finále C a jsou stále na první pozici s rozdílem 14 metrů Uzbekistán a na třetí pozici aktuálně Australané.
China still out in front here, holding a length ahead of Uzbekistan. The Aussies are sprinting for it now. They go to 38. I think they might just run out of water. They're a canvas down on Uzbekistan, but China crossed the line to win the C final, the men's pair. Uzbekistan takes 2nd place, a canvas up on Australia for 3rd. 4th goes to Slovenia on the far side, 5th USA, and then 6th Moldova on the near side of the course. So that concludes the C final and the last race of the day and places 13 through 18 in the championship ranking for the men's pairs.
Poslední závod a konkrétně finále C sobotního programu juniorského mistrovství světa. Teď už můžeme vidět také tváře a vydýchávání Číňanů na první pozici, na druhém místě Uzbekistán se ztrátou 2 vteřin a 3 desetin a ještě třetí pozice Australané, ztráta 3:17, první, druhé a třetí místo.
There's the full results lineup for this last race of the day, the C final of the men's pair, won by the People's Republic of China in 6:46.12, ahead of Uzbekistan in second. Third place Australia, fourth Slovenia, fifth the USA, and sixth place Moldova.
Číňané, Uzbekistánci, Australané na třetí pozici, Slovinci čtvrtí, závodníci z Spojených států na 5. místě a Moldavská republika už s výraznější ztrátou víc než 12 vteřin na místě číslo 6 v tomto finále s označením C, tedy ve finále o 13. místo.
Well, folks, that brings us to an end of the day here on day 4 of the 2018 World Rowing Junior Championships, Račice, Czech Republic. We've had a fantastic day. We've seen a total of 9 World Championship best times topple here today, and it's been so great that all of that action has been broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, and the World Rowing website. It's been broadcast to an audience of tens of thousands all around the globe so that everybody around the world has the opportunity to enjoy in the spectacle of this week's racing. And it has been some top action that we've seen here today. We've literally witnessed records being written into the record books, and it's so good that the organizing committee went for that full video streaming option that we've thoroughly enjoyed through the course of today. We've seen the cameras from the tops of the start 500,000 and 1,500 meter points, but today we've had moving cameras on the tops of the cars, and they've genuinely captured the Račice course being written into the record books 9 times today, because the venue is captured alongside the time and obviously those that set it. So fantastic stuff being witnessed here today. We've thoroughly enjoyed all of the racing, and if anything, I think it builds the excitement and the tension for what we can expect tomorrow when we move on to the last remaining races, the A and B finals for all of the events. So loads to look forward to tomorrow. In a packed schedule of racing, the schedule starts at 9:30, where we get underway with the first race of the day, the B final for the men's Coxed 4. We run through all of the B finals through the first hour of the day, finishing just after 10:30 with the B final for the men's 8s. And then we get underway with the first A final and the first opportunity for medals at 10:58, running through all of the A finals and all of the medals being awarded and celebrated as we run up until the last race of the day, the A final at 2:15 for the men's 8s. So loads to look forward to tomorrow. So do make sure you get back here in good time for the start of racing at 9:30. Maybe grab yourself some brekkie and a coffee before we start at 9:30. While I've got the opportunity, I just want to put out a huge thank you to all of the volunteers that we've had out there on the course. They've been making this such a special event, so friendly, so welcoming. I think everybody would agree with me that they deserve a huge appreciation for all the effort that they've been putting in through the course of this week, and I know that they'll continue to make tomorrow equally special. So a huge thank you to all of the volunteers scattered around in every position on this course. Thank you for making this week so incredible. Tomorrow's weather is looking excellent as well. Lots to look forward to tomorrow, as hopefully it's going to get a little bit warmer, but the sun's going to be out. It's going to peak up to 28 degrees, so not quite as stifling as we saw at the beginning of the week. And fingers crossed the wind stays down. We're going to have a bit of an overcast from 1 until 3 o'clock, but fingers crossed we don't get any wind with that. So do bring your sun cream, though, because it's going to be a nice sunny day. My name is Peter O'Hanlon. I've been your English-speaking tower announcer up here in the tower for the full course of the week. I've been joined by Miro Lentz, my Czech co-commentator, and we've had an all-star team of commentators out there on the course bringing you the latest of the action. We've had Paul Castle and Zdeněk Krejza in one of the cars, and Kat Holloway, Martin Schumer, and Jakub Makovicka in the other car. So on behalf of the whole team, huge thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed all of the racing. There's been loads going on. There's loads more to come tomorrow, so we really hope that you'll come back and join us in time for the first race at 9:30. And in the meantime, have an amazing evening. We look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Goodbye for now.
Děkujeme, že jste byli společně s námi. Končí 4. den juniorského mistrovství světa v Račicích pro rok 2018. Zítra začínáme finálem B v 9 hodin a 30 minut. První finálový závod o medaile, o zlatou, stříbrnou a bronzovou medaili, tedy o stupně vítězů a speciální koberec, začne v 10 hodin a 58 minut. Nezapomeňte využívat sociální média, Facebook, Twitter anebo Instagram. Podívejte se na World Rowing, tedy oficiální web Mezinárodní federace veslování, a nebo také na Rowing Račice. To je oficiální web mistrovství světa juniorů, kde se dozvíte také mnohem víc o juniorských plánech a zároveň o tom, jakým způsobem se daří českým juniorským reprezentantům. Jsme rádi, že jste společně s námi, protože zítra jdeme do absolutního finále. V 9 hodin a 30 minut finále B, jedno z prvních finále B. V 10 hodin a 58 minut jdeme už ale do souboje o medaile. Buďte společně s námi, Petr, můj parťák, bude také společně se mnou na věži, jinak máme komentátory přímo na trati. Budeme mapovat opět každý metr 2kilometrové tratě, které zítra rozhodnou o tom, kteří závodníci budou nejprve v Bčkovém finále od 7. do 12. místa, od 10:58, pak v souboji o medaile, tedy o 1. a 6. místo. Děkujeme, pěkný večer a těšíme se zítra v posledním dnu mistrovství světa juniorů pro rok 2018.